I've just been filming the clouds going across that gap. I don't know what the film's going to look like. I will upload it to my cloud channel and have a look. I've got a new editing suite that I downloaded the other day, and I haven't got to look at it yet because I've been too tired. I'm not sure I'll look at it today. So the music that I add to the cloud video will come from YouTube. It's a bit of crap music, really. Move you further away. So it's beginning to, I can just begin to feel it raining. Just knocked over one of my chickens. Put that back up there. And that, okay, then I've got a cockerel. Had those years and years. Had those in Devon, I think. We've been doing a bit of, it's a bit of a shock. Be prepared for the shock. We're doing a bit of gardening, i.e. repotting stuff that really needed potting on. There was an Agapanthus out the front here that's in, you know, it's got some nice flowers on it, but the plot it was in was too small. That's been potted on. There was an Agapanthus out the back that completely, anything out the back just got completely neglected and started to die because it wasn't being watered. So I said to Mark, we went up to, well, you knew, we went to the garden centre and bought compost and some pots. So we split the Agapanthus out the back. It's really quite violent, you know, with splitting it with a spade. So we split it and have potted it into two separate pots. It's a little bit higher out of the potting compost than I'd like, but by the time we'd finished yesterday, it was like, okay, that'll do. So that's sitting behind me. Everything, so it's been brought to the front here below these geraniums behind me because they get watered and then these won't get forgotten. What else did we do? Oh, there was a plant upstairs. There was a jade tree upstairs, completely and utterly a mess. I'd watched YouTube a year or so ago about how to persuade your jade tree to thicken its trunk and get really, you know, actually it does look quite chunky now, but to put it in garden soil, don't put it in anything special. So I did that. I potted it into garden soil, and it stood in, it's north facing up there, but the two window ledges we have up there are the only window ledges in the house, so the only place really it can stand and get light all year round. So it stood up there, and it just, yeah, the leaves coming off it and the stalks with the leaves on were just curling, and you turn it round every so often, and it just didn't have any good shape. So, and then that got neglected. I kept forgetting to water it. So what I did the other week was I was beginning to think about bringing it down and dumping it. So I broke off all the branches, and it started to grow back. Had started to grow back little green leaves, because they're prolific, jade trees. You know, if you've got a leaf that's fallen into the compost, it'll root and start growing another little jade tree. So we repotted that yesterday into a nicer pot, nicer soil, compost, a mixture of compost and more like soil, I suppose. And that's out here for the moment because it'll be all right out here. But every branch that I broke off has got little green leaves on it, so that got repotted. And then this afternoon, because we were knackered by then, this afternoon there's been a Montbretia that somebody gave me years ago. I feel awful about this. That I planted out the back there in the garden. Nothing really does well. The lavender did well out the back there. Lavender cuttings that I put in. But anything I put in over there just doesn't, it just fails to thrive. Put the Montbretia in out there, failed to thrive. Transferred it to a pot, failed to thrive. Ended up in a pot with other stuff, and a Montbretia needs lots of room for its legs. Failed to thrive. So today I said to Mark, we need to take that out of that pot and give it its own big pot. We went out there with all our apparatus, you know, trowels and spades and whatever, and I got hold of the dead leaves, pulled it, and there were just a few little, I think they look like bulbs, but they're tubers, I think, on a Montbretia. Pulled it out. It's like, okay, right, so it's now planted in a big pot on its own. I've labelled it so that it doesn't get forgotten, because it's going to die back and it's just going to look like a pot of nothing. So I've done that. So that's out here as well, because that way it won't get forgotten. So anything that is out here gets remembered. Anything out the back doesn't. And that's the way it's going to have to be, because we're not meant to be using loads of water. We're meant to be careful with water now. We're not allowed to water after 11 in the morning, and before 8 in the evening. So we're beginning to get into water restrictions again. So I need it all out here so that it can be cared for and not forgotten. I also cut back yesterday the clematis that grows up that post where the petunia was hanging down. I cut that right back because that had finished flowering, and that will come back in a 2 or 3 months. It will come back again and have a second flowering probably. But I cut it back to allow the new passion flower, to begin to climb up the pergola, and Mark's tied it up as well. So it's looking a bit unhappy because I had to pull it away from the clematis. But so yeah, we did gardening. Don't tell anyone. So it's a bit chilly out here. Well, it's not chilly, but the temperature forecast for today was going to be nearly 20 degrees lower than it was a week ago. So it's quite a breeze. There's a clip come off the tablecloth. I'm just looking for it. Can't see it anywhere. Yes, it's quite a breeze, as you can see, and it's quite cool, which is quite nice. I'm not complaining because it's been so hot. It's so nice to be out here, and we had very steady rain yesterday for quite a while. Didn't get the storms that we were promised. I don't think there's anything special promised for today, sadly. Tomorrow we go out for our meal with the art group, and the top temperature I think is going to be 24. So it's not going to be. I'm going to, have to dress, especially if we sit outside. I'm going to have to put a bit more on than I've got on now. This is sort of, very short sleeved, and I've been wearing a dress, but I'm not going to be wearing a dress tomorrow. So yeah, it'll be cool. And I don't know whether we're going to be sitting outside. We would have expected to sit outside, I think, but maybe not. I don't know. So looking forward to that. That's about it, really. I'm just really getting confused about the whole regime thing. It's I swing from low carb to no carb and think, hold on, it's not no carb, because it's really hard doing no carb. Yesterday we had I cooked filet mignon de porc, and easy to cook, really quick. I rubbed them with a melange of spices and left them for a couple of hours in the rub, then quickly seared them all on all sides I didn't have in the recipe that the recipes that I'd looked at, they used a cast iron pan. You call it a skillet, I think, in America. We call it a frying pan. That would be ideal, but I wouldn't be able to hold it. It'd be too heavy. But the idea of the cast iron pan is that you do it all in there and then put it in the oven in there, so it stays with all of its juices and everything. But so I did it in one of my cast iron Le Creuset pans, the oval one, because that's got 2 handles on it, because I can hold that. So I did it in there, put it in the oven. So you sear it, put it in a rub. Remember that meat needs to be at room temperature before you cook it, because then it doesn't go like that. And you put it in a hot pan, because it's a muscle. So leave it in the rub or the marinade if you're going to use it. Most of the marinades have got honey in, so I didn't do it in a marinade. Sear it on all sides, chuck it in the oven for 15 minutes, in a hot oven for 15 minutes, and then leave it to rest for 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. It was really yummy. But I did it with veg. I didn't do any potatoes or any, you know, sort of starchy carbs with it. And sadly, the veg were frozen veg. And I bought frozen haricot plat, which are like short runner beans chopped into, you know, chopped up rather than sliced. And even though they were steamed, because I steamed the veg, I had Brussels. The Brussels went in water and steamed the veg. The haricot plat were wet. They were just, yeah, lots of water in them. So, I mean, I enjoyed the meat. It was really juicy, but I didn't enjoy the veg. It was just soggy veg. Horrible. And no potato, no starchy carbs. And then last night I had a sandwich because I just thought I need a sandwich, and it was horrible. But it's what I thought I needed. It was horrible. And Mark had tuna and sweet corn wrapped in, mixed with mayonnaise, and I sort of said to him, because I said to him, I don't know what I'm going to do tonight, you know, really, really struggling. And he went, I'll have tuna and sweet corn. And I went, you can't keep having that. And anyway, sweet corn is sweet. It means something. So yeah, I'm getting really muddled with that. Yesterday would have been better if I had done a couple of potatoes with it as well. You know, done some carbs with it and just had less than we would normally. And today I did chili con carne, and there's enough for another day. I did it with, I always do brown rice. When I say rice, it's always brown rice. I did it with brown rice and half of what I might normally have dished up. It still seemed rather a lot. So that's what we had today, and then we're out tomorrow. Oh, tonight we got a double yolker from Mrs. Maron, and there's 3 other eggs, so that would be 5 yolks. So that will make an omelette, and I can put mushrooms in that and make a mushroom omelette. And we're out tomorrow. And there was something else I was going to say about that, about omelette, mushroom, Mrs. Maron. Yeah, I don't know now. So yeah, that's what's going on. I'm not going to say any more. I've been saying it in posts, so I won't say any more about that stuff. I'll just stick to this stuff. Vicky's coming tomorrow at 9. It's her daughter's birthday tomorrow, so I said to her, you can come in, you know, whenever you want, because she didn't come last week because... Why didn't she come last week? Oh, because it was too hot. I said to her, don't come, I'll pay you not to come. It was going to be 40, wasn't it, last Tuesday? So she's coming at 9 in the morning, and one of the jobs tomorrow is changing the bed. And she said, I'll come at 9. I went, okay, well, we'll move over whilst you sort the bed out. So I'm going to get her to sort my fridge out, clean that, bedding, and something else, can't remember. So she's coming tomorrow, then we're going out for a meal. I don't think we've got on. Then on Sunday we're going out with Jo, my daughter. It was her birthday last week. It's my birthday, you know, whenever. And we're going out for a joint meal on Sunday. So that'll be nice. I think after tomorrow, the rest of the week is free for us to do very little like we always do. He's coming to the end of another model. He's been building something, a Messerschmitt something, I can't remember the full name of it. But he's coming to the end of that. And I'm pig farming. They don't half eat a lot, pigs. Oh, constant trying to feed the bloody things. I think I might get rid of them all and become a sheep farmer. That's easy. You just give them grass and water. But the other thing, cows are less difficult in the game, I think. I did have cows. They need hay. They need a total mixed ration. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I think I might get rid of the pigs and do some sheep. I won't have to work so hard. Okay, so that's it. I'm going back in, see what my cloud video turned out like, and thanks for all your comments, thanks for your interest, thanks for subscribing. and keep well. Bye.